Whatever horrors you may find in these dark spaces, have heart and see them through. There are no premature endings, there are no wrong decisions. There are only fresh perspectives and new beginnings. This is a love story.
You're on a path in the woods, and at the end of that path is a cabin, and in the basement of that cabin is a princess. You're here to slay her.
And there you are. Are you here to kill me or something?
At the end of the day, whatever the two of us have going on down here is about trust.
I just want to go home.
I'm ready whenever you are.
You lean in and you kiss her. And...
We're both meant for so much more than this.
We are oceans, reduced to shallow creeks.
Perhaps you need another lesson in submitting to your betters. It doesn't have to hurt so much. Let's hurt each other.
Let me out!
a reprieve, a good life. Here one moment, gone the next. The worms have found their orifices.
She asks that I tell you to remember her. You won't.
Slay the Princess is a phenomenal game that has had its claws securely buried deep in my chest ever since I first stumbled upon it back in November of last year. I may have been a little late to the party, but that hasn't stifled my love for the game in the slightest. Something about the premise of the game and how it's executed is just endlessly fascinating to me for some ungodly reason. The atmosphere, the story, the characters, and the voice acting just keep me coming back for more, despite the fact that I've already seen almost all of what the game has to offer. You know, call me shifty the way I keep watching gameplay video after gameplay video, gathering every possible perspective there is to have on the game. It's all just so charming and alluring, I can't help but keep crawling back for more every month or so. Some people have a 2-week Minecraft phase, and I have a 2 or 3 week Slay the Princess phase. It is what it is, I guess. But we aren't here to talk about the game as a whole or my unhealthy obsession with it, because if we did, we'd be here for hours and it would make absolutely zero sense. So instead, we're reining in our perspective and focusing on one singular thing, the romance of it all. Because despite its horror stylings and the occasionally grotesque scenes the game subjects you to, Slay the Princess is actually a fairly compelling love story. You know, I'm a little slow when it comes to media literacy, so it took me a couple run-throughs of the game to see it for what it is, but now that I have, I can't unsee, as the Razor puts it, the romantic subtext of it all. It's maybe not the healthiest romance at times, but the love is definitely there, and I'm a sucker for a good tragedy. So let's get into it, shall we? One of the first things the game tells you is that it's a love story. And that line right there was one of the main things that initially got me invested in the game. Fun fact, I found Slay the Princess through the Kitchen Fork animatic. I'm sure you know which one I'm talking about. It was a situation where I was just mindlessly scrolling through YouTube looking for something to pass the time. I see the video, notice that it's a song I know and haven't heard in a while, and the video has over 1 million views plus a fairly interesting thumbnail. So my curiosity gets the better of me and I click on it. I sit there and I watch the whole thing, and I am somehow simultaneously so unbelievably lost. I have no idea what the hell is going on or what I'm looking at, but also at the same time really locked in. Like, I want to say that is the most invested I have been in an animatic in a while. I had no idea what the hell was going on, but damn did I like it. So obviously I scroll down and I start reading through the comments for probably not a great amount of time that I should admit. It was probably at least an hour. I don't know. I didn't time myself, but I was there for a very long time, and I still couldn't really gather much from what I was looking at. I don't know what it is. Like I said, I don't have good media literacy. I just don't understand things sometimes. So I had no idea what the hell was going on. All I could gather from all the comments that I read through was that it had something to do with gods and death loops, and that's about it. That's all I really gathered. So imagine my surprise when I look up the game and the first thing I'm told is that it's a love story. It's a very interesting and deliberate choice on the creator's part to put that line at the start of the game. It, for the most part, makes you immediately second guess the narrator as he's telling you to slay the princess. You know, the only other people in the game are the princess and the voices in your head, narrator included. So, unless this is a story of self-love, it can't possibly be a love story if the princess really is that evil, right? And yet, as you play through the game, depending on what routes you take, it becomes harder and harder to see the game as a love story. There's some not so great things that the princess puts you through. You know, the princess may put you through hell time and time again. You may die many excruciating deaths at her hands, and you may do the same to her. But in the words of our beloved Shifty, days mean nothing in the maw of forever. You're a god, and so is she. Death means nothing to you, it never sticks. It may hurt in the moment, but what does one moment matter when you have eternity ahead of you, and potentially behind you as well? You know, who's to say that the start of the game was actually the start of the construct? One of the potential endings for the game is you and the princess choosing to forget who you are and go back to square one, trusting that you'll make the same decision over and over again for the rest of eternity. As much as it may not be my favorite ending, there's still a tragic beauty to it. It's almost poetic. Neither you or the princess want to be gods or to play the role you were made to play. You're just victims of circumstance that have bonded over your shared trauma. You don't want to kill the princess because it means spending an eternity alone, but you don't want to embrace godhood with her either. She doesn't want to die for obvious reasons. So, despite the game insisting that it doesn't exist, you find a center. You choose to continue this violent dance and to spend an eternity with her in the construct, even if it means suffering, potentially forever. At least you'll be together. As much as you may hurt the princess and she may hurt you, you have no choice but to keep going. You were made from the same being. You're drawn together. In her, there's a part of you, and in you, there's a part of her. You'll never feel truly complete or fulfilled without each other. Even amidst all the pain and suffering you put each other through, you can't deny the connection you share with each version of the princess. The tower may not see you as an equal, but there's still something to be had there. She cares for you, even if it's only as a pet or a disciple, you know, something lesser. At the very least, she recognizes that your words are what have brought her so close to her peak, and she can't help but be at least a little grateful for it. And if you choose to accept her and allow her to reach that apotheosis in Chapter 3, she chooses to forgive you of your previous transgressions. She ignores the hurt you've caused her in favor of spending eternity together. She doesn't need you to set her free anymore. The cabin is nothing but shattered splinters of wood, and yet she decides to bring you along with her to the worlds beyond the cabin. The Razor sees this whole deadly dance as a game, and you as a toy to be played with. She's the cat, you're the mouse, and oh boy is she having fun using her claws to their full extent. If you choose to flirt with her like the freak you are, she acknowledges that, yeah, she likes you. But the one thing she likes more than you is this whole situation you got going on. And so, she skewers you. The Spectre is a victim to the narrator's construct, and she very much remembers the cruelty you showed her. And yet, she chooses not to return it. At her core, she's lonely and longs to return to a home she doesn't know. She just wants her freedom, and so she offers reconciliation. She ignores what you've done to her and gives you a chance to redeem yourself, a chance to put an end to the cycle. The beast is a caged animal longing for the room to roam. She's flipped the script, turning our dear hero from predator to prey, a poor little birdie that stumbled into the lion's den, faced with the cruel reality of something much more than him. Though she may have given into her more animalistic side, she isn't stupid. She knows how this all works. She knows she can't escape unless you allow her to. Killing you means nothing, and so she tries to avoid it at all costs. You can both live so long as you provide her with the freedom she oh so desperately craves. The witch dared to believe you were her savior, dared to dream of the outside world, and you betrayed that trust. She wasn't a threat to begin with, but now she'd rather kill you 1,000 times over than to trust again. Even if it means crushing the both of you, she's more than willing to sacrifice herself if it means watching you perish. Killing is a cycle, and she is more than willing to accept mutually assured destruction. She hates you, but if the wild and the thorn are any proof, love and hate are two sides of the same coin. The adversary, similar to the Razor, is in it for the thrill of the game, but instead of viewing you as a toy, she sees you as a worthy opponent. She wants a good fight, and you're the perfect challenge since death means nothing to either of you. You can fight each other to your heart's content without having to worry about breaking. Which, slight side note, the adversary is by far my favorite chapter 2 if you choose to go down the song we write in our blood route, you know, if you lean into it. Not only am I the voice of the stubborn's #1 fanboy, I don't know what it is about him, I love this idiot. He's so dumb in the best possible way, but there's also just something so interesting and kind of funny about the idea of two like warriors or whatever just locked in combat for eternity, pretty much. You know, just the idea of two people fighting and one of them dies, but then just decides that, you know what, no, I'm not dead, this isn't the end, and so they get up and they keep fighting and they just keep doing that. Something about it is so funny. I don't know, it makes me happy. It really does. And I'm going off script here, but it's also, in my opinion, one of the most romantic routes you can take, solely because the voice of the stubborn and the adversary really, they got some chemistry, okay? Like, they were made for each other. It's a match made in heaven or hell, depending on how you view it. But for me, it's a match made in heaven. I love it. It's so entertaining. Like, genuinely, the adversary is the only princess where I prefer it ending in chapter 2, solely because it's just so cool, I guess. I don't know. I need to stop ranting, because that is the end of my script. I thought I had it fully finished, but I guess not. You know, it's definitely not all of the versions of the princess. I'm definitely missing at least 2 or 3. But clearly, if I couldn't be bothered to put them in the script, then they are not important enough to be in the video. So, who cares? It's okay, we can leave them out. They don't matter. Pause. I know I said clearly they aren't important if they weren't in the script, but we're gonna backpedal real quick. I'm in the middle of editing this disaster and just realized I left out the damsel. And there is no way I'm making a video about the love and romance of Slay the Princess without talking about the damsel. I fear that's kinda like her whole thing. And funnily enough, I honestly feel like the damsel is one of the least romantic routes you can take in the game. On the one hand, yes, it's a sweet little fairy tale about our feathery hero saving the poor damsel in distress, you know, freeing her from her chains and walking off into the night together. But on the other hand, it's also a route where you strip the princess of any agency or personality in favor of playing the hero. The love here feels so fake and shallow solely because the princess no longer feels like the princess. This may sound pretentious, but the damsel isn't really even a person. She is a caricature of an idea. She has no personality or defining features outside of the fact that she just wants to make you happy. You know, there is a reason why everything falls apart the instant you question her any further. It's just a fantasy. She's not real. Now, obviously, this is a fucking video game. None of the princesses are real. But the damsel is especially not real. I really didn't mean for it to be, but I guess this is just another episode of Edwin Evergreen rants about his most recent obsession. You know, last time it was the Crane Wives, and now it's Slay the Princess, because I started watching gameplay videos for this, probably around like the end of April, and it is now June 13th. And I have not stopped. It is so bad. I am gnawing at the bars of my fucking enclosure, man. I'm going to lose my mind. It's gotten to the point where I'm genuinely considering picking up art and taking it seriously, solely so that I can just get it out. I'm going insane. I'm gonna stop talking. Time is running out. Don't waste it like I have been. But I mean, I don't really consider it a waste. Time spent passionately in love with something is never a waste, or whatever the fuck the stubborn says, you know? Not the stubborn, the fucking smitten, whatever. That's it. Bye-bye. Maybe I'll see you soon, maybe I won't. Who knows?